We want to thank Del Rio and Carawa for sponsoring our huge anniversary special yesterday. They are so awesome. And they happen to be in studio this morning to talk about some of the biggest cases from 30 years ago.
Yes, 1995 was the year. Dan and Chuck from Del Rio and Carawa are here with us. Good morning, guys. Thanks for being with us.
Morning.
We joked before the break that we could think of one big case from 1995, referring to the OJ case. We'll get to that in a bit. But I want to start with, and I can't believe it's been 30 years, the McDonald's hot coffee case,
That's right.
which at the time was like, it was late night monologue jokes, stuff like, of course your coffee is going to be hot. I'm curious though, where that case stands, like in the not only legacy but also the legal record in terms of these types of suits 30 years later.
It's a really interesting case because that case has become the platform for tort reform in the United States. Everybody looks at it and says, this is the quintessential frivolous lawsuit. Of course coffee's hot. You shouldn't handle hot coffee when you're driving. The problem is, it's because a lot of it was distorted. The reality of this case was she wasn't driving the car. She was a passenger. The car was stopped when it occurred.
Yeah.
And what really inflamed the jury here was a combination of how serious the injuries were, third-degree burns with skin grafting in a very sensitive area. And the other big part was the jury was really, really bothered by the fact that McDonald's knew this coffee caused burns. They had plenty of studies, they had plenty of claims, 700 plus claims that had been made for injuries by this coffee, and they just basically said callously, like, look, it's not enough for us to change it.
Yeah.
And so the jury was really outraged, and that's what this case became about. You have to understand, the original demand for settlement negotiations was only $20,000. That's all she asked for.
Wow.
She said, hey, my medical bills are $10,000. I've got about $5,000 in wage loss. $20,000, I'm out. That's all I want. McDonald's said, how about $800? And that's what started all of this. So that goes into a lawsuit. That goes all the way to the court. The compensatory damages for her actual medical bills were only $160,000.
Yeah.
That's all that she, in terms of what she proved up, in terms of medical, economic, pain and suffering, that's all it was. The rest was the jury's sheer outrage in punitive damages. Their original award was $2.7 million in punitive damages. The calculation is understood to be, they said 2 days of coffee sales for McDonald's would teach them to change their policy. The judge ended up lowering it because we have rules in the United States about how high punitive damages can be compared to compensatory. We don't all agree with them, but the judge lowered it so that it was only 3 times the compensatory, so it came out to like $640,000 total. And this has been exaggerated now as like, oh my God, look at the situation. This is just a total, go for the cash grab and all of that, and it's become the biggest,
the poster child.
It has.
But you're saying, but the merits of it actually stand up.
Look. Third-degree burns are as bad as it gets.
Yeah.
Skin grafting is horrible.
Yeah.
This woman had 2 years disabled and only asked for $20,000.
Yeah.
The rest was the jury literally coming out and saying McDonald's is a huge corporation. They've knowingly decided to keep their coffee to a level where in 3 seconds it causes third-degree burns. That's outrageous. It's way too dangerous to do. They knew it was actually hurting people because they had over 700 claims doing it, and they just didn't care.
Yeah.
So it was the jury outrage.
So the other big case that we talked about, the OJ Simpson trial. Anybody who was old enough at the time can remember where they were. I'm curious for you, Chuck, as now that you're a lawyer, because you were not a lawyer at the time, OJ famously was found not guilty. Your thoughts now, knowing the law the way you do on that verdict, in regardless of whether you feel he did it, but the lawyering that was done in the trial.
Well, I mean, they called him the dream team for a reason.
Yeah.
I mean, this is some of the best lawyering that you're ever going to see. But what's similar between this case and the McDonald's hot coffee case, the hot coffee case being a civil case, this being a criminal case, was the media getting involved in these cases and shaping the public perception of what happened.
Yeah.
And so with the civil case, what you had was everybody's outraged by this huge award and limiting what actually happened and showing that to the public. So everyone's like, this is ridiculous. We have this huge verdict for a burn. Whereas in O.J. Simpson, what you had was the media getting involved and portraying certain facts and you had a division in America at the time, a racial division,
Yeah.
where when you polled people, there was guilty or not guilty based off of a racial divide. In answering your question, I think what really came to light here was that beyond a reasonable doubt, that's the standard that you need to prove a case in criminal court. And what happened is through this you find that beyond a reasonable doubt is a very, very high standard to meet. And if you have the dream team, the glove don't fit, you must acquit, the ability to go after the LAPD and say they've done all these things wrong, they tainted the DNA evidence, all these little shadows of a doubt that they're putting in. That's it.
Jury.
And they had 3, and that was it. And they didn't prove their case. But what we see afterwards is that they go into the civil arena, same basic case, but they're suing now for wrongful death.
Yeah.
Lower standard that they have to prove, and he's found guilty.
Yeah, he's found liable in
Liable,
that case.
liable. Thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. We appreciate your expertise and being part of our 30th anniversary as well. Really appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Did you guys get your shirts?
No.
Okay.
Oh.
I'll handle that. Give me 2 minutes. Give me 2 minutes.
We have good day shirts. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.